Hey, happy Friday, everyone. So I am so excited to be here to be sharing these sessions with you. I wanted to really just take this opportunity to inspire you, to connect, to have you consider going into your weekend. Sorry, this is the first time I've done all this with all the tech. To inspire you going into your weekend, to consider what is it? Who is it I get to be this weekend? Like really to empower you to live from your heart and to just reflect a little bit. You know, we don't take enough time on our own to reflect on how we feel, and just to be present in conversations and just to connect fully. So I'm bringing this to you on a Friday because we're going into the weekend. In theory, hopefully, most of us have an opportunity to spend some time with the family and our loved ones, and as women, as parents, and daughters and wives, we're so busy, aren't we? Like, we're so busy with wearing different hats, looking after everybody, that we forget about ourselves, like how we feel. And I know for myself, very easily sometimes the whole weekend is scheduled out with, washing and ironing and catching up on housework and all of those things. So my intention with these self and soul esteem sessions is really to have you just really spend some time thinking about, who are we? Like, what are the choices that I'm making today? And in every moment, not just today. Like, I do get an opportunity to always just take a pause before I answer, before I commit to doing something else and giving all my time away again. So the self and soul esteem sessions are really to support you with, it's going to be different every week, basically. So I'm going to be bringing some guests in also, but we're going to be looking at different areas within our life where we give our power away. Building self-esteem and living in alignment with our soul, and really in our full empowerment and being our true authentic self. It takes awareness, and it takes moment by moment thought and consideration. And this is what we're speaking into with these sessions. So they're really just little bite-sized pieces of how, giving you a bit something to think about for the weekend, but to reflect upon rather than to think about. I would never invite anyone to spend too much time in their head thinking things through. And over the coming weeks and months, we'll talk about this, because we don't resolve anything through being in our head, thinking. True authenticity and forward movement and congruency and integrity comes from being in the body, being in alignment with our heart and mind. So these little considerations, these little sessions are really here for you to reflect upon rather than to think about, and for you to go into your weekend then and just bring those thoughts and considerations into your awareness. Okay, so what is it all about, this self-esteem? So I want to start with the self-esteem today. Like, what does that mean? So self-esteem is, I'm sure most of you know about the chakras of the body. So I'm bringing you into the body. Okay, let's get out of the head, stop thinking. Let's bring ourselves into the body. And this is where we have our emotions, and we spend a lot of time reacting to things depending on how we're feeling, don't we? And in our body, we have the chakra system. And the chakra system, there are actually many chakras within the body, but let's consider the basic 7 within the body. And chakras 1 to 3, the third one is the solar plexus, are really to do, chakra 1 and 2 are to do with our ancestry, our tribe, what we were born into. And I'm going to talk today about self-esteem, which is the third chakra. The solar plexus the sun of who we are. This is like, you know, very quickly, when we're born in through our, obviously our parents bring us into the world. We are born into a tribe, a particular place within the world, you know, a country, a tribe of people, a community, and it's all good. It's all good. And they are like the first two lower chakras of the body. The third chakra is, as we grow older, we learn to build our own personality, so to speak. And this is when, you know, I'll come back another day for the first two chakras, so I won't go into it. But when we begin to come into our teenage years and we become more independent and we come to look after ourselves. Sorry, I keep getting something coming out there. We are living from a place of, you know, we're learning who we are. Yeah, we're learning to come into our own. We're developing our own sense of, what is it that we want to do in life? Where do I want to live? You know, what do I want in terms of a career? We start making our own choices. And, you know, it all starts, you know, in our, you know, 9, 10, 11 years old, but really in our teens, this becomes like a real focal point for us, and our community, our friends become much more of an influence to us than our ancestors, our parents, those lower, you know, we kind of start to pull ourselves away from that. So we're coming into our own awareness, our own ways of being. And in this third chakra, it can be pretty rocky for a very, very long time. And but the truth is, we get to stand alone, don't we? And as we grow and we form relationships and we begin to, as I mentioned earlier, start wearing all these hats, whether it's a particular role at work, in our career, or in the family, we become a parent or a husband or a wife, we begin to wear many hats and spin many plates. And what happens is we are very often focusing out on life, all these jobs that we get to do, but we become a little bit disconnected, if not very disconnected, from our solar plexus, from the third chakra, from our sense of being. What's true is all of our life, we're always developing that. It's a process, it's a development piece that we get to work with. And what can happen, although, for parents, for all of us, is not just as a mother with children, whereby we become a mother and we spend all of our time giving to the family, and neglecting ourselves to some degree. It's a natural course, a natural way of being. But it happens for the fathers too, because, you know, it could be the other way around. The mother goes out to work, but often the father can go out to work or the mother goes out to work, and they get to see less of the children, but they're spending all their time looking after everyone, playing those roles, wearing those hats, that again, they also lose that kind of element of connection with who we are, who we get to be. And as I say, this is something that we work with throughout all of our life. And the problem, what can happen, is that we don't really nurture that and grow with that and develop who we are. And at some point, I know for me in my early 20s, I began to question this, like coming into my own sense of being, who am I? And leaving my tribe, leaving my family, not leaving them, but realizing that they are a part of me, but they're not who I am. I get to forge my own path forward. I got to ask that question very early on, and later on, actually, not that long ago, about 5 years ago, I asked the question again. Because I got very busy with life, and I had to come back to this source question of, who am I? Like, who am I, really? Because we get so busy with life, wearing those hats, becoming that person for everyone else, that, you know, very often we lose a sense of who we are, like in our core. You know, like really, it becomes like a bit of turmoil sometimes. Like, who am I? Like, I'm a bit off track. Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? This happens to us all, and it's really necessary. It's a wonderful point in our evolution in this lifetime, in this life path that we each of us share, to really look at choosing differently, to learning to be integrous, to do what we say we're going to do, to be accountable to ourselves, you know, to finish what we start. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us, is the truth. And when we look at building self and soul esteem, it's really important that we actually even consider this, which is why these sessions are here. They're an opportunity for us to reflect upon how much time do I actually give myself? How do I feel? You know, I'm so busy running around after everyone else. Where are my boundaries? Do I have any healthy boundaries? Like, really? And as a parent, as an adult going through these thoughts and when this moment arrives, because it does, and if it hasn't already, it will, we have the opportunity to think, who am I? What have I incarnated with in this lifetime? Like, what has been brought to me? What are my gifts? What have I brought with me? My talents. Especially if I haven't already been able to put them into action, like to really, many of us have a talent or something that we haven't really dived into because we got busy with life. You know, maybe you're an amazing painter, maybe you're a dancer at heart, like really, or a singer, or something is in you that you've never really developed because you just got busy. And it's like, this is what I'm inviting everyone to really begin considering, because this is where, when we're in the third chakra, these are the areas that we get to really start thinking about. And when we talk about soul esteem, here's the thing about the third chakra and self-esteem. This has to be within the body. This is a highly intuitive part of our body. We know, that saying of, oh, when something happens, or we're gutted, we feel it in the solar plexus. And I could talk into this in terms of the meridians, everything, but we feel it in our gut. Intuitively, when something goes wrong, that butterfly feeling, or something's going on, this is our intuitive center. And very often we're out of connection with that because we're so busy being busy and focusing outwards. Taking the time to pause, to think, to reflect upon who we are, how do we feel, before answering a question or reacting in a certain way, to take that moment to be present within, to feel what's being communicated to us right now within our body, is super important, because this is what we have instinctively been given. Our body is an extraordinary vessel, truly. And we have this natural, instinctive, intuitive part of our being, our third chakra, that when we are giving it the attention and the nurture, and we're in tune and empowering ourselves, being present and experiencing what we're feeling right now, we are within our soul nature. We're present. And this is when we can also receive new ideas, energetically, new things come into our field, because we attract what we put out there, we attract. So focusing on the third chakra, the self-esteem, learning to have healthy boundaries, fulfilling our dreams, like really nurturing our ambitions, our, you know, if you want to run a 20K, run the 20K, do what you've said you're going to do. You know, being in that place of integrity is everything, because not only is it the core of who we are, it brings confidence, it brings clarity, we attract more into our life from a place of just clarity and confidence and true, like, knowing of who we are. And none of that can happen whilst ever we're being busy. And whilst ever we're being busy and we are disconnected from being within ourselves and being in balance, you know, we're never really truly going to be creating supreme health in our life. It's super important to just reflect upon, who is it I get to be? Who is it I want to be? What are my talents? What did I always want to do that I've never done yet? You know, who am I giving all my power to? Where is my power? Is it out there? Is it being taken away by everything outside of me? Or am I living from a place of integrity and knowing who I am and courageously speaking my truth and going out there and communicating and being the person that I get to be? It takes a lot of work to build this self-esteem. It takes a lot of work. And once we begin building that and being conscious of that and really working with it and being honest with ourselves when we are feeling wobbly and not feeling good and feeling nervous or, you know, feeling scared, then you know, we get to kind of just embrace that and be aware of that and stop pushing that away. It's really important that we feel our emotions. So we get to start rebuilding who we are. This is that point where we come into ourselves. And the truth is, it's a process. So, you know, we become wiser as we get older, and we're always going to be triggered by elements of where we get to feel scared or wobbly. That will never go away. It's one of our survival archetypes, which is a story for another session. We'll talk about that. You know, that is just part of life. It's part of our life process, of our evolution. However, we must bring it into being. We can't numb it down and pretend things are going to go away. We get to be in our body and experience this. And one of the biggest challenges, if we are to really move forward, is this, you know, this question of power. Everything is about our power, what we give our power to and what we don't give our power to. It's like this is the gym part of who we are, feeling empowered. It's not just about knowing. Well, it is about knowing. But there's one thing to being a place of feeling graceful and blessed and, you know, really in a place of gratitude. It's also about doing the inner work and having a strong sense of knowing, of self-esteem and knowing who we are. And the world right now, with all the challenges that we are being challenged at every moment. The world is attempting to take our power away from us and leave us in a state of fear and anxiety, and we're feeling it more than ever, aren't we? We really, really are. So developing self-esteem is powerfully important because it will support us with being in alignment and really experiencing true soul esteem, like really giving ourselves the grace to be in the present moment and to live from a place and give in our relationships from a place of prosperity, to really from compassion, to really be with someone, it takes presence and listening and intuition. And that, my friends, comes from knowing who we are so that we can get our ego out of the way. Everything is about relationship, and our relationships are here to teach us, to help us learn, because it's a reflection, in fact, but they help us to learn to be integrous, to be compassionate, to be patient, to just be, which doesn't come from being up here. It comes from being, and it's powerfully important. So I want to give you something to think about with that, really. And, hopefully that is something that you can reflect upon over the coming days, in your conversations, in your relationships, in your journaling, truly, in every moment. There is sometimes, well, without a doubt, there are moments when we're ready to hear something. And there are moments when they really land. Something really lands. And this really empowering experience of developing self-esteem and what I've just mentioned is at some point, if it hasn't already, it will land. And it's something that we get to work with all the time. And sometimes it's just good to have these reminders, which is why I've created these little self and soul esteem sessions. So I'm going to be talking about lots more going forward. I just wanted to start with it's literally just a little bite-sized piece on the third chakra. And I'm going to leave you with this thought, a little poem from Hafiz. And it's a little reminder, it's a little reflection, a little opportunity for you to reflect and think about, just be present. All of these sessions are an opportunity for us to just be present, be thoughtful, be in the moment, which is truly the only place we can ever be if we're going to really connect from a place of integrity and love and compassion, everything that we just spoke about. And this poem is a beautiful reminder of exactly that we get to we're constantly, if we're in the present moment, then we're aware of our being, the sentient being of who we are, and being our soul self. So this is a little poem by Hafiz, and it was translated by Daniel Ladinsky, and it's called "We Should Talk About This Problem." I'm going to read it to you. We should talk about this problem. There is a beautiful creature living in a hole you have dug. So at night, I set fruit and grains and little pots of wine and milk beside your soft earthen mounds, and I often sing. But still, my dear, you do not come out. I have fallen in love with someone who hides inside of you. We should talk about this problem, otherwise I will never leave you alone. I think that's really beautiful. It's our soul nature, it's who we are inside, saying that, hey, hello, are you going to give me some attention? Are you actually going to listen? I'm trying to communicate with you. So it's just a little reminder that we get to stop being busy, so busy all the time, that we're not listening to our intuitive self, our self and soul, and being present enough to hear the guidance that we are really supposed to be receiving. And we're receiving it in every moment, and every conversation, every opportunity we have. When we're in, it's like we go to eat something or buy something in the supermarket. If we are listening, truly being, we get a hit all the time. You shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't be doing that. That's an unhealthy choice. That's a healthy choice. don't say that right now in that conversation, because that's going to be something that you're going to regret. We know this, but we're not listening because we're so busy being busy. So this is just a beautiful poem to say, hello, I'm trying to speak to you. When you're ready, maybe you'd like to listen. And it's just so beautiful. Okay, so I will post the name of this actually in the description, and then you can go and take a look at it. There's some beautiful poems by Hafiz. Okay, so have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. We're going to be talking a lot more about the chakra systems and a lot more about self and soul esteem. I'm looking forward to diving in a lot more and bringing some guests on. We've got some great guests coming up. Just to share some thoughts. And listen, send me a message, sharing some feedback about anything that you would like to learn about. If you have anything specific that you'd like to bring in a specialist to talk about, if you're struggling with something in particular, because really I want to bring some value to your days and support you in the best way that I can in this crazy world right now, and support you with empowering yourself with some forward movement, really, truly some forward movement. All right, so sending you much love. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next time. Same time next week, Friday at 5. That's Central Eastern European time. All right, and you'll see in the description the details for the Realizing You membership if you want to learn a lot more about empowering self and soul esteem. Have an amazing weekend. Lots of love. Bye for now.